film sucks. Indie film sucks. It's the Indie Film Sucks podcast. Yeah.
Coming at you from the mean streets of St. Louis from a basement on South Broadway, the Indie Film Sucks podcast. Yeah, here we are.
The lovely independent film world. You know, it does suck some days and some nights. And it's nighttime right now. It does suck.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It does suck. Doing the podcast sucks. Not doing the podcast sucks. Yeah, everything pretty much sucks.
Well, you know, there's always you know, you have to have the not so good days to really enjoy the good days. You know, when you have, like, today was a beautiful day outside, right?
It was.
It's February, and it's usually really fucking cold and miserable and gray and no color. And, you know, today was a nice day outside. It's beautiful. And I was thinking about that today, actually, and I was like, man, what a great day. I was like, this is why we have shitty days outside, so we appreciate the good ones. And I guess could say the same thing about anything that has to do with working hard, because working hard sucks, right? And,
it can, yeah.
and you have to work hard to accomplish whatever goal you're trying to accomplish, and sometimes it sucks doing it. You know, like we've always talked about, making the movie is really fun on set.
Most of the time.
I mean, it's a lot of work, but it's way better than waiting for other people to do their end of your business.
Yeah.
You know, which is what we're doing now. The long wait game. That's the sucky part about it. But at least we have something in the hopper, a few things coming up, and we had something kind of cool happen last weekend.
We did. Mm-hmm. I guess we should talk about that. Oh, by the way, I'm Chris Grega.
And I'm Brock Roberts. Thanks for listening to the Indie Film Sucks podcast.
And Chris Macke is, of course, on assignment.
Yeah, well, assignments are, you know, sometimes we are really working. Like, some of us can't be here. Sometimes one of us can't make it because we really are working an angle in the business, right? And other times it's because, you know, like, we are the blue-collar workers. We have shit to do. We have kids' birthdays, wife's birthdays, anniversaries. Wife goes out of town and you have to watch the kids, which that's probably Mackie's assignment right now.
Could be.
We miss you, Macke. We wish you were here.
We do.
But we're here today, and yeah, let's talk about a little bit what happened or what we got to do last week.
We were in our first festival.
Yeah.
For Red Nighted Skies, that is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one didn't even think we were going to get in.
Yeah. Hey, cheers to that real quick.
Yeah.
Cheers, Chris.
And we went to the screening.
Mm-hmm. We did.
And the screening consisted of me, Brock, the tech guy running the show, another filmmaker that we know who happened to be there because he had a film in the festival,
and a drunk woman who just happened to almost fall down the stairs.
Yeah.
To see what was going on in the basement of the venue.
Yes.
Which is where we were at.
Yeah, and she stuck around. Well, she actually called her husband and her daughter and daughter's boyfriend, and they showed up for about 20 minutes of the movie, then they split. But then some other dude wandered in after that, and he stayed for the whole thing.
Yeah, so we had a really, really good show. Well, first, let's paint even a bigger picture of how it happened. So I get to this festival, which is, you know, a couple hours away from where I live, and it was a late Saturday night showing, like 9 or 9:30.
Yes.
And the location is a bar, I guess. You know, that's where Google Maps took me anyway.
Yeah.
So I get out and I walk into the bar and I'm looking around, and, you know, there's people playing darts and shit and drinking beer, and I see Chris and another fellow actor, you know, having a drink or so, discussing whatever, and that's pretty much it. And I see a poster for the film festival and an arrow pointing this way. I'm like, oh, shit, okay, this is different. I didn't expect this. So we sit down and we talk a little bit, and the person that's supposed to be introducing the film, we're talking to. Right, this is what the website said, anyhow.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, hey man, don't you have to present us? And like, like now, he's like, eh. Yeah, it's like, okay. All right. And we proceed just to bullshit a little bit. And then I guess someone said, well, we probably should get down for a movie.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, he's waiting on you. And you go, he's waiting on us to go down there for the movie? Because we've been bullshitting for a few minutes.
Yeah.
So then we go down to the festival. And this bar is a beautiful bar, by the way.
It is.
The
It really
venue
was.
real pretty cool. And we go downstairs to the basement of this really cool bar. And that's where we see, the pull-down screen, the projector on a chair, which is fine. And the tech guy, and he looks up from, whatever he's doing on his phone and kind of, oh, you made it. We didn't know if you was coming. And I'm like, who's I see one person here. So that was the beginning of the viewing.
Yeah, yeah. And then he's like, "Oh, I'll go upstairs see if I can round some people up." He didn't. He didn't round anybody up. Nobody came down to see it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess they just didn't promote the festival or whatever. I'm not sure how it works, but I'm glad somebody's out there doing it because it's a hard work to put on a festival and get people. Especially this time of year when it's cold outside, it's hard to get people in anywhere from off their couch.
No, I'm not complaining about the festival organizers or the presentation or any of that stuff. I mean, some festivals are going to be small and it's going to be like in a basement on a screen, and that's cool. If the vibe is cool.
I thought it was cool actually.
Yeah, no, I thought the setup was great. It took about a half hour to get the sound going because we had technical issues. Which again, man, you go to a festival, you don't know what you're going to get as far as your screening. You really don't. And I'll be honest, man, and unless you bring a bunch of people with you, there's probably not a bunch of people who are going to see your movie. And guess what? The people you're bringing with you have probably already seen your movie. So,
Yeah, even in some of the bigger festivals we've been into with other films, if you don't get there early, if it's a bigger festival, I mean, not a great big one, but, bigger than the one we were at.
Yeah.
It'd be really good for you to get out there a bit early and try to recruit some people to come see your movie.
I mean, in theory, yeah. I don't know if that works in practice. I mean, because like I said, man, filmmakers, we're really terrible people. Filmmakers don't really want to go to a festival, watch other people's movie. You want people to watch your movie. I mean, I've had that conversation with a couple of people at festivals. I mean, it's a tough sell, man.
No, I want to see other people's movies.
I do too.
I really do.
I mean, there are so many people that we know that have not seen Red Night at Skies that have had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity.
Oh, sure.
And and they all say the same thing. It's all some variation of, "Oh, I'm going to try to be there." Guess what? Anybody who says they're going to try to make it to your screening is not going to make it to your screening. They are not, just like Yoda says, do or do not. There is no try. But people, they don't.
You got deep there.
I did. Yeah, people just don't want to let you down and just outright tell you, "Yeah, I'm not coming." But nine times out of 10, they're not coming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the showing here, it looked good. It sounded good after we got the sound going. The people that were in the room, the tech guy, another filmmaker, and another guy who came down after the drunk woman. She's a very lovely person, and well, you know how drunk people are.
Yeah,
they talk a lot, and she kept asking, "Is this a porn? Are we gonna?" Because I'm leaving, and we're like, "No, this is a real movie." And anyhow, the people who stuck around to see it after it was over, they're like, "Holy cow, this is really good," and I'm glad we got that out of.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been just me and Brock sitting there.
Yeah, but no, we got real feedback from people that didn't know what to expect, and asking, "Wow, how'd you get this thing done?" Because it's not easy to make an independent film, and we made one, and it turned out really well. So
Yeah, no.
I was happy to hear that.
Afterwards, me and Brock just went upstairs. Went to the bar, had a beer, and just pretty much laughed about the whole thing, because we've been to some real shitty screenings, and I would not qualify this as a shitty screening, because the picture looked good and the sound sounded good. So what the hell?
No, it was a shitty turnout.
Yeah, but that's not the festival's fault.
No, like I said, man, it's really hard to get people's butts off their couch this time of year.
And anytime now with streaming, it's like, why go anywhere when I can just sit on my couch and watch movies or watch whatever I want right here? Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's tough to get people out the door, but whatever, it is what it is.
It is. I hope that festival grows, gets a little bigger for themselves, because it could be something really cool if they keep working at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice Missouri regional festival, so hats off to them, and hope it just keeps rolling along. We also got our first festival rejection.
Boom. Yep.
Hopefully only the first of few, could be first of many, but I wasn't surprised when it came through, and it was a fest I wanted to get in, a smaller one, but I knew it as soon as I read it. All you got to do is scan the email, look for the word unfortunately, and then you can delete the email, which is pretty much what I did. I'm like, ... unfortunately, delete. Went back and deleted all evidence of it, went on Film Freeway and deleted it from the list before we even got the official rejection. And let me tell you what not to do. Don't contact the festival and ask questions. Don't complain. Don't say, oh, well, we got in this festival and this festival. Why didn't we get in yours? It doesn't matter. Who knows? Maybe it's nothing personal. Maybe they didn't watch your film. It does not matter. All you have to do is just move on.
Yeah, you don't want to dwell on any of that shit.
No.
I mean, it just puts bad vibes around you, for one, and two, like Chris said, you never know why they rejected you.
No.
It could be because, well, they couldn't fit you in their time slots, or maybe your movie doesn't speak what they want people to hear. You know what I mean? And they may like your movie and tell other people that, hey, this didn't fit in our festival, but it may fit in your festival. You never know who the festival show or runner is. So, yeah, you don't want to do anything negative. It's just bad business.
It is. And don't ask them why. Don't ask for feedback. Don't ask for notes. Don't ask for anything. If you got to say anything, say thanks for considering, and that's it.
Yeah, I think that's not a terrible way to go. Thanks. Hopefully the next movie I makes it in your festival.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, man. I used to save and print out all the festival rejection emails. I had a stack of them.
A wallpaper.
Yeah, and I used to, be all bummed out. It's like, no, man, I don't care.
Yeah, you can't.
You really can't. It's just like with reviews. You can't read too much into reviews of your stuff. I mean, you're going to get some good ones. You're going to get some really terrible ones. And the only response I ever give to anyone is thank you for your support. Whether they say something really nice or really shitty, I just say thank you for your support. And that's it.
Yeah, that or just nothing at all, like you said.
Yeah.
So that was our first one we went to as far as festival goes. I know we have 2 more coming up in the near future. We're going to make, one's in Chicago.
One in Chicago and one is in Godfrey, Illinois.
All right. Other side of the river for us.
Yeah, it's basically just a little north of St. Louis.
Okay. Yeah, and one's coming up pretty quick, right?
One is in March and the other one is in May. And I know there's Hysteria Fest, which we may get in, may not, I don't know. But that's another local one, so it'd be cool if we did.
And when is that one going on?
June, I think.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I figured we'd have a pretty busy spring and summer. And even, really, I think the fall we're going to be busy with festivals with this type of movie.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, because we sent it exclusively to horror festivals. So that's bigger in the fall, obviously. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we getting some more of those and get some good feedback. Be nice to win some awards. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be really cool to win some awards, not just for our movie, but for the people involved in it. You
Yeah.
know, it gives them something extra to put on their resume to keep building what they're trying to build, which is what I really like about this business. You know, it's not just about you or me, even though we're in Mackie, even though we're the heads of 88 and, you know, our movie Red Night Skies, but, you know, there's so many people involved in it. And that's what I like. I like the collaboration, you know,
Yeah.
and I like when people get spotlighted for what they do within our business. So I think that's what I think that's really cool about making movies.
No, it is. And that's whether or not your film has any financial success or festival success or any kind of success at all, that doesn't mean it's a bad film. But whether or not that happens, other people who worked on your film can still gain benefit from it.
That's right.
You know, and you're right. That's the cool thing about this. I mean, someone, maybe their first acting gig is on your film, and because of that springboard, they're able to land other acting gigs.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've said this before. Most of the gigs I've got were because I was on another set, and it's a small world, and there's lots of work out there. Well, there used to be lots of work out there for me, but anyhow, a lot of jobs I've got were because of just being on the set of something else.
Yeah.
And whether it be in front of the camera or even sometimes behind the camera. I mean, recently I just had somebody reach out to me in Messenger about possibly wanting to shoot on my property because they hear I have property or whatever, and we haven't worked the kinks out of that out or anything, but you know, there's a possibility for that for some other old production company that I don't even know. So
cool.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool, but you know, let's see how it works out. It may not work out, but it's
yeah,
just
you never know.
It's you try to help other people out, and that's what it's about. You know, something else I kind of want to ask and talk to you about is the state of independent filmmaking, not the actual making. Let me take that back. The making money and getting it out there on platforms for people to see is fairly simple, but people don't know where to go in the masses because there's no marketing behind most independent film making, and independent film movies, I should say.
No.
So we've talked about, okay, and we've had other directors and producers on the show talk about making smaller budget films, so being able to return their money would be easier because it's such a small budget, like a $10,000 film or a $15,000 film.
Yeah.
So that way, you know, they got to make, if they make 20 grand, they just netted 5.
Yeah, that's theoretically an easier way to make money.
Right. So you'd have to make a bunch of those throughout the year to sustain any type of real living. So there's that way of doing it, and we did not do that with Red Night, obviously.
No.
The other way of making movies, there's plenty of different ways, but the one I'm talking about is you spend a couple $100,000 to maybe $1 million or $2 million for a film. You get bigger names involved, obviously, which is always beneficial to the production company because names they put seats, they put butts in seats, right?
Sure.
Names do. But it's still relatively hard to get on platforms, even with that budget, because now you got to make up $1 million, right? So how do we make the money filmmakers used to be able to possibly make on these platforms we have? Which I know we don't know 100% the answer, but I like to talk through it a little bit.
Well, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here and say, you really can't make money like you used to be able to. Like, this has always been a hard game, right? Mm-hmm. There's never at any point at our budget level we're talking about. So let's say $100,000 and under, sometimes far, far under. It's always been a hard game at the indie level to make money. I mean, yeah, there are films that break out of that.
Yeah, we don't need to go down that road. We've talked about.
Yeah, but that's not the majority. The majority films, and they may be well-produced movies, they may be very entertaining movies, but there's a lot of them. And it's always been hard, but at least it was theoretically possible if you spent a decent amount of money and maybe had a couple of B-level celebrities, C-level celebrities in it, then you could go through the traditional distribution route, provided you weren't getting screwed by the distributor, and stand a reasonable chance of making some money back. Now, with streaming, there is so much content out there. There is an unimaginable amount of content. So that's everyone is taking a piece of the streaming pie. Like if there were only 10 movies, right, and that was it, then those 10 movies would make a boatload of money. But there's 10,000 movies or 100,000 movies or whatever the number, but it's a lot, and so there's only so much to go around.
Well, the amount of competition's definitely there. But I guess my bigger question is, how has the game changed in the last handful of years? Because I think we were talking about this earlier, years ago even when streaming just kind of came out, you could, if say you had a movie you put on Amazon Prime or you put it on, or Netflix wanted or whatever, they saw your movie somehow, they liked your movie, they'd either possibly buy it outright or they'd put you on the platform and you'd split your sales or your rentals, right? And a sale would be $3 or $4 or $5, and a rental would be like $2.99 or something like that. And then they'd split it. It'd be pretty much a 50-50 split from what it used to be. So if you had 1 million viewers on their platform that saw your movie, you'd make a couple $1 million because you'd split it, right?
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah. And now it's just not quite like that. And I'm curious if you have an answer or reason why it's not like that anymore.
Well, because of the amount of content, they can afford to essentially pay very little, right? Like I said, if you only had there's only 10 choices or whatever, only a handful of choices, then they have to pay them more because there's only a few choices.
Well, see, here's what I don't understand. Yeah, there's so many choices out there, like you're saying. But if the movies aren't being viewed, that movie shouldn't make any money. I get that for sure. But if your movie is being viewed, you should definitely make money, is what I have a problem with. Like I said, now if you get 1 million people seeing your movie, you're going to make tens of thousands of dollars.
Well, maybe, yeah, because you only get paid out like, I don't know, $100 per 1,000 views or something like that.
Yeah, depending on the platform and the deal. Yeah, that's where I don't understand is if there's that many people watching your movie through this platform, how come that platform can't pay out more money to you? If you fall into an algorithm where a lot of people are watching your shit, shouldn't you be getting paid better?
I mean, I would say theoretically, yeah. I mean, that's how. I mean, and trust me, I don't know how social media really works, but like TikTok and Instagram
Right.
and all that jazz. I mean, if you have 24 followers, you're not going to make any money. If you have 2 million followers, then you're going to make more money.
That's exactly my point.
And as far as streaming goes, I don't know how that works. I don't know how the payouts work. They do not appear to work.
Well, they're not transparent on how. I'm not sure how the platform gets paid by the advertisers. How much the rates per view per whatever the hell you're watching, and so we don't know that number. How do we know how much we're actually supposed to be getting paid?
No, it's a problem because there's no transparency. It's the same thing with the distributor. A distributor can give you any number that they choose to give you, and you just have to take their word for it.
This is the part of the business that I don't understand because I own businesses, right? And if things don't make sense, people will stop doing it. But people still make movies like us. We just said this earlier. We are making movies even though the business model doesn't make sense to anybody.
Well, that's the problem. And here's the problem with filmmaking, with art in general, music, whatever you want to call it. So there's a market for it, right? There are consumers who, I'm a consumer, you're a consumer, we talk about, oh, did you see that new show? Did you see that movie? Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
There's a market for all this stuff. The industry is essentially and effectively self-regulated, right?
No, I'm not sure what you mean, really.
There is no film payment oversight committee that makes sure everyone is getting paid what they're owed. Right?
Not in indie world, no.
No. So the streamers, the gatekeepers, the distributors, they only disclose the bare minimum that they have to disclose.
It's part of their business model.
Yeah.
It works for them.
Yeah, but it doesn't work for the creators.
No.
The problem is everyone thinks the industry still operates like it did 40 years ago, and it doesn't. It's not simply you make a movie and people like the movie, then it's a hit, you sell the movie, and then you get a bunch of money and you're off to Hollywood, or you get so much money you can make another movie. It doesn't work like that. I'm not sure how it works anymore.
That's the most suckiest part about this business.
Yes.
It sucks to raise money. It sucks to try to get a film made. It's awesome making it and having it finished. It really, really is. That's why we do it. But the back end of this business is so muddy. It's really hard. It's really hard to say, let's keep on going because we know there's light at the end of this tunnel somewhere if we keep swimming. You know?
Yeah.
And, that's what we're doing now. We are trying to figure this shit out. And we're on different social media platforms, reading other people's stuff. And it doesn't seem like many people have this figured out.
No, that's the thing, man. You can look on YouTube, look on all these different channels. Everyone has, there's all these gurus with advice and ideas and, this is how you beat the system. And nobody seems to know a goddamn thing.
No, I mean, I agree with some of them. And you've even said this at one point is, make a good movie, it's going to be seen, which I 100% agree with. But, who says it's a good movie? That's,
That's because it's subjective.
Yeah.
It's very subjective.
That's right. So, I mean, well, what I was getting to my point earlier is, we could make $10,000 movies all year long, all the time. It's not quite where I want to go with this business. Or we could try and raise, $500,000, $1 million, and see if that gets us to the next level too. I'm not sure which direction we're going to go after Red Night, because everybody asks about what we do after Red Night.
Yeah, I don't honestly know which works, because it is comparatively easier to get a return on investment and make money with a $10,000 film as opposed to $1 million film.
It is definitely easier to make $11,000 than it is $1 million.
Yes, yes, it is $1,000,001 for a profit.
That's right. Or to get back to investors, you'd need 1.2, right?
Sure.
And that just break even. With us and investors getting back what they invested in, their percentage, then we'd be at zero. Then the production company would start making money. So I'm not sure which way is the right way, because there's not a right way. I don't know if there's really a wrong way, because I've seen people do, little things and seem like they make a little bit of money. Some people are streaming their stuff on YouTube and, they're making, $100 a month, and that's all they're looking at. That's all they care about. They're getting something. And after a year, they'll make $1,000 and get their $1,000 film.
Well, they'd make $1,200.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So that's not our lane, I don't think. I think it's, a couple $100,000 film. Hopefully that works, because that's kind of where we're at right now. Unless we want to go even bigger, better, more bigger name actors and get all the distribution done at the beginning of the deal, which is ideally the best way to go. If you can get a distro deal and maybe some guarantees up front from different distributors, that's a way to go.
Sure, but that is hard to do.
That's hard to do unless you have, sales agents in hand and relationships with distributors who you've probably worked with before and they want to work with you again.
Yeah, and we've worked with distributors before that we don't want to work with again.
Yeah, they want to work with us again. I wonder why that is.
Yeah, well.
You were easy pickings, I guess.
I guess so.
I don't know. Just the whole business model is so, like I said, muddy and shitty at the end. It's really hard for a lot of independent filmmakers to get their money back for themselves or their investors. And we know it's art. I get that it's art, but it's also a business. And I'm in it for business and art. You know, you can do both.
Well, I think there's been a lot of talk recently about Film Hub not working anymore. And I don't think that's the case. I think a lot of people who make films have unrealistic expectations and unrealistic views of their product and their capability. I think a lot of the people complaining about Film Hub not working anymore have just made shitty movies.
Well, they say it's not working because now they're asking for money to not put it on certain platforms at certain times.
Sure. So you don't want your movie to go to YouTube, so you have to pay so it doesn't go there. You don't want it to go to wherever, so you have to pay so it doesn't go there. I don't know. I've heard another school of thought is like, man, flood it, put it everywhere.
I've heard that, but if somebody sees it for free on one platform and is asked to pay for it on another platform or watch advertisements, they're going to go to the free one, and you're not going to see a penny.
Is it free, or is it ad-based?
Some of it's free, which just for people to see it.
Well, someone has to pay something somewhere.
But you can put something on YouTube and not have any advertising on it.
Sure.
And nobody's going to make money.
Correct.
And then the advertising on YouTube, I'm not sure how much money that makes somebody yet. We're going to find that out. Because we do it. We spoke on one of the episodes. We have issues with that right now. But we didn't say YouTube. We just said one of the big ones. Oh, well, everybody knows who it is. It doesn't matter. But, I just hope we can find a way to get through the muddy waters and maybe tell people how to get through it too. Hopefully we can get through that light and share our experience with people and help other people out if we can help ourselves out first.
That would be ideal. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Did anything we talk about make sense tonight? I don't know. No one ever comments, so who knows? Who knows?
I don't know.
You know what I do know?
Yes. I want to hear it, though.
I do know about the highs, the lows, and the in-betweens of true independent filmmaking. On the Indie Film Sucks podcast, brought to you by 88mm Productions. It's on places where...
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
We know a lot of the lows. If you guys want to know about those... Anyway, go ahead,
Yeah. Anyway, see you next time.
Adios.
Indie film sucks. Indie film sucks. It's the Indie Film Sucks